What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video. Today we're going to be looking at NHL Network's top 20 NHL defensemen for the 2019-20 season. Now, I'm also going to be checking out last year's NHL top 20 defensemen from the 2018-2019 season. We're going to compare the two. I'm going to talk about maybe some guys that are left off and just give my general opinion. Now, there might be some names that I miss out on in this video, but don't worry, that's what the comments are for. Make sure to leave your top 20 down below. Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm just giving my opinion, and I'm also just looking at the list. So this is going to be a lot of fun. If you want to check out my other videos, I've done the top 20 centers, also done the top 20 wingers, and I'm sure the goalie one is coming out after this one. Of course it is. So let's go ahead and check out the top 20 defensemen from the 2018-19 season predicted by NHL Network, or at least that was their general opinion. Now, unfortunately, there wasn't any really great shots of these lists, so I had to go ahead and just look at them myself. And by that I mean I had to go and screenshot them again because unfortunately there wasn't any really good graphics. So like I said, looking at the 2018-2019 version of this list, you can see a lot of really big names. Of course you will, because this is a star-studded list. Now, Victor Hedman was at the top of the list prior to last season, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Of course, one of the best two-way defensemen in the NHL, if not the best, in my opinion. I think he is. Then you got Drew Doughty, a guy, he does give up the puck a lot, but he puts up a lot of points. Erik Karlsson, another guy who just puts up points after points. The guy is just an absolute machine when it comes to putting up points. Brent Burns, same thing. The guy just knows how to score goals. Like, we're talking a defenseman that can put up like 25, 30 goals. That's insane. PK Subban, he's pretty high on this list. I think we're going to see a pretty big dip on the new list if you've already seen it. But Seth Jones up there as well, another guy that's a really good two-way defenseman. Roman Josi. As you guys can see, there's a bunch of big names here. We got Zach Werenski here, Chris Letang. Surprisingly, I thought he would have been higher on that list last time. Same with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Torrey Krug on there. I'm a big fan of him, even though I'm a Leafs guy. Still a guy that I think is really good. Shane Gothisbehere. Dougie Hamilton, another big point-producing guy. And, of course, it was followed up by Ryan Ellis there at the bottom, a guy that I actually think is quite good. So moving on to the list this season. Now, the guy on the left there is blocking off a little bit of it, but you can see the name. But again, that's just the name or the picture that I could get, unfortunately, because it was not a very clear picture. So, of course, now looking at number one, we've got Brent Burns, who made a jump from last year to number 4 all the way to number 1. Now, I still disagree with this. I know that Victor Hedman only played in 70 games this year, but I would still have him as number 1. I know that he was the former number 1, but I know Burns can put up a ton of points. I just think that Hedman is the full package. I really think that he should be number 1. And then you can make the argument to have Brent Burns at number 2 just based off his point production. They had Mark Giordano at number 3 on this list. Now, this is quite the move for him. Now, if I'm looking at the last one, I'm not even sure Giordano was even on the list last year. I don't think he was. So making a jump from not being listed on the list at all to making it to number 3 is huge. Clearly, Giordano was good on both ends of the ice last year. The guy was literally the best defenseman in the NHL at the awards ceremony. He definitely deserved it. Norris Trophy winner. And Erik Karlsson there at number 4. He bumps down from number 3 basically just because of his injuries. If you look at his points per game, the guy was on pace to just crush more points. So having him there makes a lot of sense. If he's healthy, he's definitely going to have a lot of points this season. We all know that he's been dealing with some stuff. Seth Jones there at number 5, bumping up one spot. I think that's well-deserved. We had John Carlson there on this list, bumping up as well. Morgan Rielly, who is not listed at all, at number 7. So he makes a jump from not being listed all the way to number 7. Now, as a Leaf fan, I have to admit, defensively, Riley is not exactly a top defenseman, but when he's on the ice, he's always producing points, so you got to give him that, and he definitely deserves to be there. Roman Josi, of course. Drew Doughty took a bit of a bump from number 2 to number 9, but the thing is Drew Doughty playing with the LA Kings this year, they weren't very good. So he gave up the puck quite a bit this year. He wasn't exactly himself either. So I can kind of see this. Makes a lot of sense. Chris Letang moving up, which is really good for him. I think it makes a lot of sense as well. Pietrangelo at number 11, a guy that has proven to be a leader, Stanley Cup champion. The guy definitely deserves to be at number 11. He was a horse for the St. Louis Blues. John Klingberg for Dallas, very, very, very solid defenseman. PK Subban is at number 13. He was at number 5 last year with the Devils this year. He's hoping to move himself up the list. I think that he has a chance to do so, putting up a bunch of points on a new Devils team that looks real good. Charlie McAvoy, Boston, just, they have a really good crop of defensemen. I think that it makes a lot of sense for him to bump up from number 19 to number 14. McAvoy is a guy that needs a contract, but he's also very good. Jacob Trouba, big defenseman, can hit, put up points. Not exactly the greatest in his own end, but Trouba gets it done when he needs to. Torrey Krug, like I said, big fan of that guy. He actually stays at number 16. I think that that's pretty fair. Miro Heiskanen making his debut on this list. He impressed a lot of people, including myself. The Dallas Stars have a really good one in Miro Heiskanen. Ryan Suter, makes sense for him to be on this list. The bottom of the list just makes sense to me. Coleman Parayko and Zach Werenski. And I think Parayko and Werenski are both very solid. I think Parayko has a chance to move up into the number, anywhere from the number 12 to 10 spot. I think that he's going to be a guy that takes another step this year. Big right-handed shot defenseman that can hit, put up points, play pretty defensive, sound hockey in his own end. So if I were to make any changes, I would definitely have Victor Hedman still at number 1. I think that other than that, a lot of this list actually makes a ton of sense. I'd actually consider putting Riley above John Carlson, but at the same time, it's kind of just your preference. I think Roman Josi also could be ahead of both Riley and Carlson. Because his two-way game is quite good. I think Drew Doughty actually should be in the number 11 or 12 spot. I think Pietrangelo should be around the number 9 or 10 spot. So not a ton of huge moves for me here. I think that this list makes a ton of sense. Parayko might even be one step higher than Ryan Suter, in my opinion. But again, I think that this list actually makes quite a bit of sense. I usually don't disagree too much because this is also kind of a prediction, as well as what they seen last year going into this year. So it all depends. Age is a factor, players getting a little bit slower, but this list makes a ton of sense to me. Slavin being off the list here, you could make an argument that he could be in that number 20 spot as well. Tyson Barrie not being on this list, being a nearly 60-point defenseman. A lot of people argue that he could be on this list as well. So let me know what you guys think down below. Who is your top 20 defenseman in the NHL? What would you change here? My biggest thing is I still think Victor Hedman's the number 1 defenseman in the NHL. Let me know down below. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 7,000 subscribers. I talk about all NHL teams here, not just the Leafs. It's just for this video. I'm filming other stuff. And yeah. Cheers. Shameless self-promotion. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.